We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Hi everybody, just doing a mic check here. All right everybody, we're live into the action here of the first end with Yanagisawa from Japan against Saskatchewan's own Jesse St. John. Looking forward to a great battle and matchup here, and looks like Jesse's not going to take any chances here and start clearing out the front. Try to keep it a simple, clean end to begin. Got Carl DeConnick Smith, that's played with Jesse for quite a few years. He is the lead sweep on that side. Also joining Jesse is his for second is Jared St. John, his older brother, and throwing lead rocks is Tyler Ritchie. Japan throwing their second. The names here will be a little tough, but throwing lead is Satoshi, second is Takaru, and third is Tsuyoshi, along with the skip Riku. Guys are just replacing the guard here, just came a little bit deep on them, so that might change action a little bit, where Jesse might try to move some extra things around. Shot here, it's gonna move some things around, a little bit of granite moving, basically opening everything up. The ice here in Swift Current has been just absolutely awesome. You can talk to any of the players. I myself, Jeff Chambers, played this morning, and it's just so impressive to be the first event of the year here in Swift Current, but yet at the same time having world-class ice conditions for these guys to all play on. It's just tremendous. Alright, looks like we're going to have a nice clean end to get things started here. Let everybody get a little comfortable with the ice under their feeting. Carl's been playing a lot of years in competitive curling, and he's always wanted to be around on that weekend as he keeps battling it out. All the local boys, they're from Kindersley and Rosetown area, and pretty awesome. I know a lot of people cheering him on as they're taking on the Japan team, who's currently ranked 33rd in the world ranking, but this year alone, 9th overall. They've had a great season, just coming off a win, I believe, last weekend in Vernon. So they're on a hot streak, and they want to keep that going with the 2-0 record so far here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Jesse's just having a second look at this one, as he was thinking if he sticks there, if it's going to be tight enough that they might want to go around. So make sure he wants to get a roll out of this. Decision time from the guys to see how aggressive they want to get in the first end, but I imagine they're going to keep this pretty clean moving on. Most likely ideal if they can hit and roll and catch a piece on the corner, but more importantly, make sure to make the rock disappear, keep it clean. Like he's got a nice one coming down here. Going to keep a nice clean brush to it. Basically not taking any chances, just going to clear it out. Jesse will try to put one over on the side, a little bit different spot. A couple of different things, learn the ice and put Team Japan out in the weeds just a little bit to see if they can trick them on alignment and maybe force a jam. Guys are on it early. Not too worried about it by the looks of it, so he's probably got pretty good weight going down here. Force Riku to make good contact with this one. So they did what they wanted to do, put it in the weeds, see if they could force him into a tough spot, maybe somewhere that swings. But again, the ice here in Swift Current, very solid, and as you can see, they're not too worried about it. Throwing it down here. There's very few places that it's making any kind of significant jumps. So well, the guys have put it in the middle, and now Jesse's going to attempt his blank, and he'll just pick the turn that he wants to go with. And we have a clean first end. As you can see behind the glass there, that it's not many people down below, but the seating down below isn't the easiest place to see. So we see quite a few more upstairs now. Jesse had a little, obviously rough release there, so not too happy about that. Giving it up an easy one in the first end. So guys will have a chat, and Carl see if he can calm him down a little bit and see if they can bounce back into the second end after a little bit of an unfortunate miss there.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
All right, we're back in action here to the second end. If anybody just joined us, Jesse just missed his last shot on the last end, threw it a little wide, so it gave up steal of one. So Japan has come back and put the first one out front. Now the guys are going to attempt to come around that and try to force action into the center. Good shot there, which is going to choose to go around. Usually what we'll see in the even ends is a little more aggressive strategy by teams, as they really like to make the score, or if they can ever get a steal and force. So typically on the even ends, you're going to see that little bit of extra gamble from teams. Usually it makes it a little more exciting to watch for spectators, for sure. Shot to the back of the house. We'll see Jesse try to get a piece of the pin now. There's some really nice late swing on the ice. Again, Jason Broughton, the head ice maker in Swift Current, does a fantastic job and gives just spectacular surface for the curlers to play on. Timing is very consistent right from start to finish. The guys will already be playing at about 15 second ice right now, hog to hog, and it stays pretty consistent throughout the game, so you can really make some of these finesse shots. Okay, a little bit of run back action. So now the house is definitely opened up here. So Jess will be liking the looks of this right now. So he's going to try to jump behind that corner. Try to sit two. And if anybody has any questions or comments that they would like to ask, I'm a local curler here. Been coaching quite a bit and would love to answer any questions that people might have out there. So you can just put it into the chat and I'll make sure to take a look for that and try my best to answer any questions that you might have about Swift Current, the community, the ice, the teams, whatever you'd like. We have a close one here, but unfortunately we're going to get a little bit of a rack up top. So missed opportunity there to bury one in. So assume that they're probably going to try to take a crack at the double here, but nope, they're going to play it safe and just hit the back one and keep that one in play. I'll try to give us some good updates as we go too for the different sheets. Currently the only update that I'll have for you is the Jacobson Laycock, the other semi-final game going on right now. We have Laycock that took one in the first end, and we'll make sure to keep you updated on that score as we go. Our team Japan keeps consistent shot making going and made a beautiful little hit and roll there. Okay, and unfortunately they'll miss there. They were maybe trying to be a little too accurate there, trying to get a freeze on that back red one. So now it opens up the chance for Team Japan to clear out the guard, and Jesse's going to run out of places to hide possibly here, but I imagine that he'll try to get behind the corner guard to force the action there, but we'll find out shortly. This shot here might take that guard out as well. Looks like he's going to make some grounded move. So there you go. So he stuck one. So Jesse's actually pretty happy to see that right now. That'll be his chance to get out of this end and actually still make an end out of it. So he's going to ask, I believe it's Carl up to shoot now. See if he can get one tucked in there behind. Looks like a pretty good release down there. Curling a little early on them though, so not sure how their line is here, but looks like they have a really nice one coming in here. Now they just need it to sit down. Looks like it'll be fully buried, which it is. Great shot by Carl, so it'll force the run back. Again, it's very hard to hide rocks out on this beautiful ice surface. You basically can put the broom down. As you can see, he's just setting it right in the middle of the rock. And with a good throw, this should be able to stay there with sweeping down there. And pretty routine shot for a lot of these high-end competitive teams. they're definitely not scared of the straight run back. So looks like this one got out on him. So a good break. It takes their own out at the back. So now Jesse will split the house, I assume, and go for his deuce. So they're going to try to match this up to avoid any kind of double opportunity. So they're going to want to just touch the 12 foot on the other side and just bite the tee line. Maximize their separation and then basically go shot for shot, and should be a nice clean deuce here for our local Saskatchewan team. Solid throw there, so hopefully they can, again, like I said, hopefully the guys can go shot for shot. He's got a nice hit and roll to the middle, so this will change it a little bit, not a lot for Jesse. They got to figure out where the easiest spot is to put this, if it's a hit and roll or just stick on the nose, just to avoid the double. But what they're going to try to do is get right to the nose, and then Team Japan will have to have a decision whether they just want to hit the shot rock or if they want to try what will be a very, very skinny double. Like a nice clean hit there, no panic, so it looks like we got our nose hit, which we do. So now it'll look like a very, very skinny double opportunity, which can always be dangerous, as we know, or hit the shot rock, and they've decided, the skipper Riku, he's called it right away. His third was kind of thinking to just hit the back one and concede the two, but they're going to give this this double a run. Also a nice spot too, because they're forcing him into an in to out move, and it's not normally played that much that way. So let's see if they figured out the ice. So again, it's running really good, so they'll probably try to trust that the best they can. So they put a little bit of an early sweep on here, which typically says it's moving on them a little bit. Just come up a little too, just a little too much and over the top. So that leaves Jesse his free draw to the middle, and he just has to catch any part of 8 foot, and then we've got this game right into it with a bounce back deuce to go up 2-1. So let's see if we can pull this one off. Rocks out of the hand, and the guys are just doing some light cleaning, which is saying that it has maximum speed so far, and they're going to sit back and watch, and now they're going to hope it comes to a halt. It is very close. Let's see if they can get up. There we go. Nice bounce back deuce by Jesse. Couple good solid throws and bounce back with a nice deuce in the second end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed double. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
All right, we're back into action. Where Jesse just took a nice 2 in the last end. Just to give you a little update, we have Ashley Howard also taking on Shirley Orsted. Howard, the first end was blanked, and now we have Ashley Howard drawing against, looks to be like 3 of them, so she has to catch the 4-foot here. Looks like she has pulled off a great one. So yes, she was facing 3 with her last one, but came up clutch, and so took 1 in the second end. So Ashley Howard is up 1-0 over Orsted after 2. Other action out there is on sheet number 6. We have the Korean team, Jeong, playing against Manners. And the first stand was blanked. And then Team Korea took a 3-rock lead, 2. And in the third end, they're sitting pretty good too. So definitely putting some pressure on to another Saskatchewan rink here. And we'll make sure we keep you updated on that as well. In our action here, you can see we're getting lots of rocks in play, and now Carl's coming down to just to go over a few things with Jesse on basically some outcomes that can come out of the different placement of these rocks. So it looks like they had a good chat about it, and they know where to put the guard. Looks like close to a center line guard. They like the way they're sitting in there, so hopefully they can keep applying some pressure onto the guys from Japan. Other action out on there. It shows Mitchell against Team Barber. And Mitchell just with a nice little hit and roll to take their one. And it looks like end number 1 was blank, so that means that Mitchell is up 1-0 after 2 over Team Barber. Okay, so unfortunately that guard came up from the boys a little too much, opening things up, so that gives the opportunity to Team Japan to see if they can clean up a couple rocks here. Little fishtailing coming out of the gate there, but looks like he kept it pretty close to being on line. The guys still have a chance at this, so he's running it back. And he got a little bit of a jam there, so good break to leave one in there. I believe just coming out of the hack was a little off balance on him, and just enough to throw him off just that little bit. So let's see if Jesse can take advantage. So they've taken more ice, and they're calling for a guard again from Jared here. So hopefully he can find his spot here. It looks like we've got a pretty smooth release there, so we should be good this time. Guys aren't attacking it, so he's well out there. So this will curl up at the end quite a bit, so they won't have to worry about that extra curl. Here you can see it coming out there very nicely. They don't want to set it up too close. Leave for an angle raise. There's always going to be an angle raise there, but you don't want to make it super easy on your opponents, so you want to make them work for it a little bit, and that's what they've done. Looks like he's got his line, and again, just as I commented before, the ice is running so nice that basically you put that broom down where you want it if you're throwing any kind of peel weight, which we have going on here. And if you have a good release, the sweepers will definitely be able to hold that all the way down and get the line they need. Now that they overcalled and actually spun another one in, so a little bit of a missed call there. They were actually sweeping that a little bit, and they had to been a little bit wide on the release there. So Jesse's going to be loving that, and most likely will be throwing up a guard. They're going to be looking for the higher guard just over the hog line, otherwise known as a 1 for the guard. There's different positions all the way back that a lot of curlers use. 1 is just over the hog line, 2 is halfway between the hog, 3 is a tight guard, and then the zones carry on from there right till you get to a 7, which is right on the button. Again, most of our viewers probably know all this, but like I said, if there's any other questions out there, we can definitely put them on the chat, and I'll see if I can answer them. So this is sliding a little on them, but that's going to do the trick because they've covered up enough, I believe, to be effective enough. So they're still going to have to, as he's lining up, Riku's up there, he's lining up the angles to see if he can get this. So he'll be playing with that ice the in turn, which he's assuming it's going to curl a little bit because he wants it to curl up about 2 to 3 inches from where he has the broom. So let's see if they've guessed this ice properly here. Again, a little shaky on the delivery there. He's close. They let that one curve up just a little bit too much. So couple errors by Team Japan here. Going to be happy and just keep throwing up the guard. Hopefully get this a little bit higher. Again, taking the difficulty level just that much higher to the guys so that they can continue applying this pressure. All right, the guys are much happier with this one. Left it quite a bit higher. Actually, it's coasting in there, so, but still does the trick. There's still angles there, but again, oh, we have Riku. He's going to change gears now, so he's going to go from chasing to the aggressor. So he's going to try to get into there, the top 4 foot. The rings are shrunk up quite a bit, as the St. John rock is in about the middle of the 8s. So, but if they can get this in the top 4, they're going to feel like they're going to try to generate their deuce that way for this end. But they're definitely taking some consideration here. A lot of these teams, especially with last rock advantage, would keep on blasting out top to see if they could make rocks disappear. And with all of them being able to throw such weight, it's normally not too difficult to get a double or at least triple out of there, to move the granite around to leave a easier shot for your skip on the last rock. That's the discussion that's happening right now, is if they decide to go in, if they cap another one, are they going to be able to generate a deuce, or are they trapping themselves into forcing to take one? So you can see the team has kind of decided together on this after a good little discussion that they are not comfortable with going in quite yet. So they're going to take another run at seeing if they can open some things up and move their red rock closer to the house. Definitely a safer shot doing it this way, but again, strategy is up for debate. Some would definitely agree with this call, some would agree with the draw in. Basically, the best strategy is the one that you make. So we'll see what happens here. If he makes a shot, it'll be a great thing. If not, then people wonder why didn't they go in. But that is the beautiful thing about curling, is there's no same way to do things out on the curling ice to generate points. Every end, every situation changes. All right, so we got some action this time, and as we can see, almost cleared everything out of the house. In fact, wow, he did. So just like that, as I mentioned, the whole end can change with one big shot. The way these guys can throw, and you can see that totally cleared it all out. Left a lot more room for the skipper. So now Jesse's going to simply draw around there and force them into chasing, but Team Japan is going to be really loving the fact of that last shot there, and very happy that Yamaguchi, a real big pistol. A little bit of discussion now on where they want to put this rock. Typically the obvious one would be to go through the center and in between the yellow, because they'd have the yellow or the red as part of the guard where Carl's tapping right now, so you can get it very, very fully buried. But for some reason, the front end came down and has talked Jesse into going wide around the outside corner. So not too sure what the reasoning was, but this is definitely obviously something that Jesse likes the look of. So he's the one throwing it, so he's going to take that ice and see if they can put it around. So could be a little fresher out there, but again, the ice surface right across, just from the grippers alone being out there, even though there hasn't been any rocks that wide, just the guys going down with their grippers and sliding on this surface of the ice, that will actually keen it up as well. So there shouldn't be a lot of difference in the weight here. So the front end would have given them a pretty good time here to be able to go with to make this around, and well, hopefully bury close to the tee line. As the rock's coming down, just a little update. So in end number 2, Jacobson was forced to get his 1. So that game is tied with Lakoff having the hammer, and currently sitting 4 with 3 rocks to play. So sitting pretty good. So Jacobson's going to be working at trying to clean a little bit of house and see if he can get rid of some yellow granite so that he doesn't have to wear his sunglasses when he looks at the house. Okay, so Jesse played a beautiful shot in there. Didn't quite get it buried. Uh, Again, when you're going around one rock, not the easiest thing to. They're leaving it up. Are they going to go for a long run back, or they could probably get 3/4 of that rock or half a rock with hack weight, and then they would sit their shooter there. Would give the potential for a hit and roll back, but they definitely could to get a large chunk of this, even with hack, probably get to almost 3/4. So won't be a huge roll if they decide to go with it. But again, it's a precise shot. It's a very well guarded. 3/4 of that rock is fully buried. So good shot by Jesse there. Yamaguchi's just making sure that that line is where they want it to, and they're doing a little discussion on the movement just before Riku goes down and throws this one. Okay, interesting play. They were just a little bit light on that one, so opens up Jesse to lay another one in. So he's got to decide where he wants to put this one. He has to decide if they're going to play a bump on that last one, and if they should just guard up to center and bring it in maybe top 4, or whether they just bury one here and try to make them come in there for a force of 1. So they're going to look at what they want to do. Looks like Jesse just wants to take one right in, bury it, and let those guys kind of draw in towards the edge of the button area for their single as they face 2 in the 4-foot. What they don't want to do is make sure that this is in the open at all and leaves any chance at a double, because that's the only way right now that Japan could get a 2. So looks like they're changing their mind again here. very interesting call here. With that sort of ice, it almost looks like they are just plugging this up, but I'd be surprised because that would leave an opportunity for a tough 2 or an easy draw in for the 1. So kind of shocked that they're taking it up this far outside when they could come around the middle and put a really good force on. But let's see what Jesse has planned here. Maybe he'll surprise us, and I hope he does, and this works out to give them a steal of 1. So this was thrown way out there. It's coming in now, but yeah, they're simply just guarding that up and allowing those guys to draw in for their single. They're looking at the possible run back for 2. They've got a couple ways to do it, actually. They could actually throw at that one that they had just thrown down there as well. A lot trickier shot. But we'll just see if the guys from Japan like to gamble or if they're just going to try to draw in and take their 1. There's actually some room there. It would be threading the needle, but they could come down with just back line, out turn, and make the shot as well. But that's the high guard up there would make it very, very difficult coming in on that angle. So looks like that's what they still want to do, though. There definitely is room there. Looks a little tight, but if they just miss both, they will be able to pull off their 2 here. So again, little surprising strategy with Jesse on that last shot to not just simply draw in there to get maybe a force or even a steal of 1 or 2. But again, that's just what he was seeing, and we'll see how this works out. So, attempt for their second shot. Should see about back line, maybe hack. Looks like it's coming up a little bit on them. Nope, they're going to curl this in. It's very, very close. Looks like they've got the shot. They've got the weight. So they've got 1. There's the 2. So, yeah, a little bit unfortunate on the strategy chat there by Jesse and his crew, choosing to put a guard on that outside 1, but I'm sure they're going to learn from that one and maybe go a little bit more aggressive going forward here against our team from Japan, as they're a very high skilled shooting team.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next curling stadium.
All right, we're back in action, and Yannick Iswa managed to get a very difficult 2 on the last end with some precise shot making with his last one. So they are currently up 3-2 over St. John. Just some other upkeeping. We have on sheet 6, we have Scott Manners that managed to get 1 in the last end against Team Jeong from Korea. He's in a little bit of trouble this end, but they just managed to make a very nice freeze into the pocket. So that end will be pretty interesting. There's a lot of action happening in the 4-foot. All right, Tyler tried to get around that center one and managed to. It's just a little short, so they're going to take a crack at moving that one. And in our other semi-final action, Jacobson and Laycock are still tied at 1, with Laycock having the hammer. They are now in end number 4. And Ashley Howard against Team Orsted. Ashley has taken 1 and 2 and 1 and N3, so they're coming down halfway through end number 4. A pretty clean end on that game. And one other game I wasn't able to comment on yet, but action is going, is the sheet 5. We have Team Knapp against Bernath, and Knapp is up 4-2 after 3 ends of curling and are looking great in end number 4. So Bernath will have to come out with some pretty big shots in his last couple here to avoid being scored on again there. This one was sliding a little wide, and he definitely got it out there, so I don't think it's coming back in. So fortunately, it's just catching the outside, rolling out. So Tyler just got a little wide on that slide, and so now it'll be a pretty clean end going forward. Mitchell against Barber. They're still in end number 3, a lot of action, but looks like Brett Barber came up with a really big shot rate in her last one, so I believe they scored 1, but we'll be seeing that on the scoreboard shortly. It's a great shot regardless to get in there, so we'll just see if it was 1 or if they managed to get the deuce out of there. That game is in the C, so that's kind of a win or die situation for both Mitchell and Barber. So we'll make sure we keep you updated as we go through on that one to let everybody know where it's at. Well, I stand corrected. It looks like it was a steal. So even though Brett made a great shot to get in there, it was just to still leave them with only 1 because they were facing a few. So great shot, but still down 2-0 after 3 ends of play. You can tell in our game here, it's basically back-to-back action, so it's going to be a pretty clean end for us to watch. Normally you see a little bit more action in the even ends, especially at end number 4. It seems like end 4, people sometimes like to go for broke. But looks like the guys are going to keep it pretty clean this end. So we might not get to see too much action in the typical fourth where we get to normally see lots of rocks in play and a little more aggression. I see there's a few more people watching this game now, so it's great to have you. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'm sure that there's a lot that are from Japan that are streaming in, so hopefully you enjoy the game here. I've probably been muted out already by you, but that's fine. And because I sure the heck can't speak clearly enough to make any sense of the Japanese language for sure. It would be pretty embarrassing on my part. It's my chance to thank the curling stadium. Ever since we've put it in the Swift Current, it's just fantastic to be able to watch the games and watch the action that are going. We've got some new great sponsors that you can see on the ice surface. S3 Group came and really stepped up in our community to help out with sponsorship. And again, Curling Stadium approached us last year, and it was just fantastic. And it's brought some really big events to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, which only houses about 16,000 people, but yet we're very famous for hosting big events. 2010, we hosted the Women's Worlds, which was one of the most successful Curl Canada events that they've had. And I was running the patch at that time, and I can promise you that there was no shortage of partying and having fun. And so they decided to come back, and I believe it was 2016 they came back again, and we hosted the Worlds. So we also have a lot of the Olympic teams here battling out in the men's and the ladies action, and it's just pretty fantastic that a small little city, we'll call it a city, Swift Current, 16,000 people, can host such big events and have some of the world's best right here battling it out and giving the local fans something to cheer for. So again, a big part of that is, believe it or not, is that curling stadium for having us and being able to showcase such great events in the curling to people all around the world. And it's definitely taken notice for sure. So thanks very much. All right, Jesse's decided he's going to avoid shot rock right now and make sure he gets off that little cleaner on the outside. Typically with the hammer, you would more or less look at that shot rock and keep it around, but the guys have got another plan in play here, so we'll see how that works out for them. Want to make sure they get the clinger off there to see if they can set up for either a blank coming up this end or else a possible two still. So I think they're throwing it a little wider to see if they can generate a miss out of the Japan team and see if they can find a tricky spot out there. But like I said before, the ice surface right from one side to the other is just running so good. There is 0 falls out there, and it's running really good. So we don't expect to see any misses, but we are all human, and it can happen. So I think every team hopes that the other opponents every once in a while have a little wide slide or a wild slide. Whenever you're going out wide to the boards, it's always a gamble. So looks like this one's staying on them, but again, solid shot. Nice nose. So I think Jesse's going to repeat that action. If it gets high enough, then he'll take an attempt to roll over. He might even take a roll with this one and try to group the rocks together so that he has a potential double along the way. floating on them a little bit. So this a little tough to get in, and it's not. It's going to hit and roll out. So fortunately, that's leaving the opportunity for Team Japan to be able to split the rings here and basically put the force on for Jesse on this end. So the guys were kind of setting it up to force that possible miss, but unfortunately it backfired on themselves, and they're the ones that did the missing. So we'll see if they can get it back together here, and hopefully they can score their one and tie this game up and see what happens in the second half. On sheet 3, the other semifinal game, we have Jacobson and Laycock. Again, they're still tied at 1. They're in the 4th end. There's only skip rocks to come. And Jason Jacobson, he's looking at a little bit of difficulty as Steve Laycock manages to have 2 of his yellow rocks separated and touching the 4-foot. So it looks to be like he's going to try to do a nice hit and roll, which is not easy with the room that he has, but he's going to try to make it a little tougher for Steve to get in there for the second shot. Right, interesting situation. I didn't see the call here, but going to assume that Jesse's either going to try to get a hit or stick on that side and just keep it open, or he might gamble and see if he can get a little bit a roll under. Yeah, that's what Carl's looking at right now. They're going to try to get a little hit and roll somewhere under that corner rock to see if they can force a little bit of action still. So just going to try to get his intern going here a bit and see if he can get a nice hit and roll behind the corner. Okay, big miss by Jacobson on his last shot as he airmailed and missed everything. So that leaves a free draw for 3 for Team Laycock to bust that game wide open in the 4th. Now this might look like a straightforward shot and wondering why the discussion, but they're thinking ahead too and not taking anything for granted, and they're thinking if they could just get a little bit hit and roll to the outside, that they're going to force Jesse into a little bit of a harder hit and maybe force a little bit of the roll. And especially with Jesse having a couple wide slides so far, they might be thinking that they want him to tease him with a hit and roll rather than a straightforward hit or a draw. So let's see if that strategy pays off here and if they can get a little hit and roll to the outside. And just on the other sheet, Steve Laycock was successful with his draw, so they move up to 4-1 after 4 over Team Jacobson. So Jacobson and his crew will get together and see if they can bounce back and make sure everybody's still feeling good and concentrate on a better second half. All right, so now Jesse's got the straightforward hit and stick here, so hopefully that he can clean this up, have a nice shot down there, keep a nice steady sweep on the rock, and get his single point and take a tie game into the 5th end. Got a nice steady clean on it, which is a good sign. You're the thrower, and there you're watching your sweeper sweep it down. You know you've got a pretty solid one, which he does. Little hit and roll over, takes a single, and now we have a tie game after 4 ends of play.
got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed doubles. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
Right, we're back into action here, and number 5 tie game at 3 with Team Japan with the hammer. Just to throw out a little update there, we all love our curling and we try to keep an eye on all the games. And also in the men's, we have Knapp against Bernath. They're in the B division, right, or the second division right now, but Knapp managed to steal a point in end number 4. So they are currently up 5-2 over Team Bernath and sitting pretty good in the 5th end. And again, Team Lakecock up 4-1. They're in the A semis. They're in the 5th end now, 4-1 lead. We have Team Mitchell in the ladies over Team Barber 2-0. They're still in the 4th, so that game is going a little slow. They're having a lot of discussions over there. But they are in a win or out situation, so every rock matters, so they're making sure they don't take anything for granted. They are in skip stones in end number 4, with Team Barber sitting 2 buried currently. And Team Korea is managing to have their way against Scott Manor's team, as they're currently up 4-1 and are sitting 3 in the house right now with just skip stones to come. So hopefully the boys can battle back there and find some hiding places and see if they can tighten that game up. All right, we have a pretty clean end going on here. Hopefully when we get to number 6 that we get some more rocks in play, because it's always a little bit more exciting when we can get a lot of scenarios up there and some angle raises and things like that. Okay, nice little draw behind there by Carl. Showing just about a third of the rock, so nothing to really scare them, but definitely makes it a lot harder to make that shot. I'm going to assume that the tap of the foot is the sign for bumper weight, or as some would call it, house weight. Oh, that was close. Just came up on him a little bit. That's it. The tough thing when you go down to bumper or board weight is that it definitely will catch more of a curl. And that definitely surprised them. They weren't pounding that really early, so I think that just kind of jumped up a little bit more than what they expected. So that opened up the opportunity for Jesse here to either bring another one around and try to get it closer to the tee line around that kind of corner guard closer to the middle, or they might just choose to guard up their one that shot rock at the top 8, which is looks like what they're going to go with. So again, a couple different choices. A lot of different teams would might look at this a little bit differently, but again, it's what you're comfortable in throwing and the style of play that you like. So never a bad call to guard up something of your own there, especially when you're trying to steal or at least force the other opponents into only one. Guys are back and forth with their brooms, giving them a call, so looks like they're pretty happy with this shot. Probably should have been on that a little earlier to get it to curl a little bit more, but that'll be enough. But that's pretty close to the rings, and at this level, leaving those kind of shots are tough. But like I said, there's always the chance to jam, and that's what Jesse and Carl will be hoping for right now, is a little bit of jam action on there so that they can bring another one in. But they're in good shape, because even if they make the double here, they'll be able to draw in behind that somewhat of a corner guard and still put the pressure on. So the local guys are in good shape here in this end. Okay, now we have a miss. So now they're going to decide, with only 2 rocks to come, if they're going to go with the same strategy of just guarding that one, or when they're going to make the move to draw around the other one to the tee line. And looks like they're going to leave that till Jesse's last shot to make that one. So they're going to just simply guard the one on the top 8, and then Team Japan will decide whether they want to try to run that, clean that up, or if they're going to make the move to come in first. Curling is a great game to think about strategies, and there's so many different ways to do it. It's many consider it like a chess game where you're planning ahead so many steps, and only problem is there's so many more scenarios than in chess that can happen, and not 2 ends very rarely or ever the same. So there's always a different situation, and there's always a different strategy and different way of throwing the rocks. So makes it very interesting, and those out there that love to strategize, um, it's a pretty wild game. So here Jesse unfortunately got a little wide again, so he's been having a little trouble once he starts throwing it out there. He's been wide to the broom quite a few times today, so he'll definitely want to figure that out in his release and see if he can tighten that up, because now they have given the opportunity for Team Japan to get a little hit and somewhat behind the corner. So now they're going to be looking at if they can still generate 2. Yeah, there's many ways to look at this. A lot of teams might take the more aggressive style instead of just the simple hit and roll here, which probably will lead to a blank end if this keeps going. But some teams, if they really had to force and really had to get 2 on this end, you would come around the 2 rocks here on the corner and see if you can kind of bury one in between there, either on the back 4-foot or even on the tee line, which would have left Jesse a slash of his own, which anything can go on there. And that's another way to generate the 2. It's a little more gambling, but again, it just depends on the style of play that you have and the kind of talks that you have with your coaches. Team Japan would have a series of coaches to discuss things with, whereas Jesse and the guys are kind of there on their own. They don't have the coaching with them, so they're kind of working it out on their own. But now it's left open, so now exactly like you saw it touch there, Jesse's pretty excited about this. It's wide open. Hits about probably 3/4 of a rock with house weight, and if he can just get that right behind that guard, then we have a great chance of a tough shot for Team Japan for their last one. Carl's got the broom down, ready for Jesse. Jesse will be wanting to shoot this straight up for sure. See if he can find this broom here. Little shaky on the slide. They're not touching it so far. Looks like we should get enough to chip it out, which it will. So another missed opportunity there by Jesse, just still having trouble with that slide in the broom, but it is early in the year, so it takes it definitely takes a while to get the legs under you to for that solid relief. Carl's having a good chuckle over it right now, but they managed to get it out of there. We're just throwing this through so they clean end, and they decided there was a spot in the ice there that they wanted to have a look at, so that's why they took a little bit longer than normal for this shot, because they wanted to have a really good look at what the ice does in that situation. So typically, normally what you'll see teams do, especially if they're on the clock in competition, is they would have ripped down there as fast as they could and basically thrown one down the side just to keep it out of play. But again, with no time clocks at these events, they're taking advantage of that opportunity to see a certain line in case they have to play it later on. So all right, let's see if we can get off to a good start here. So still tied at 3 after 5 ends of play, coming into end number 6, where we should see some rocks in play. We know that Jesse will be trying to get a few rocks up front of the house so that they can generate the option to steal and make it very difficult on the other team. Well, that was very aggressive sweep, but again, the strategy part, I guess Jesse wanted that to go top 4, so he was going to go with the first one on top 4 and then attempt to guard it. But now this gives the opportunity to Team Japan with the free guard zone to actually make contact with that rock and leave their rock safely out front. That can't be touched. So one of those shots that was halfway between. So I know I'm thinking Jesse wishes that they would have got off the sweep and just left that as a very, very tight guard now. But yeah, they're kind of in between shots there. So as you can see, that's exactly what Team Japan does. They hit. Now they're safely in the free guard zone. And now I assume Jesse will want to throw a high guard up there and maybe change his strategy up a little bit to get into it, seeing that they're in that situation now. Jesse coming up front to have a closer look, but he managed to get their guard in front. A little deeper than they were expecting, but that's a great shot. To have it right in the middle there, better known as a 2. They can definitely maneuver that straight back now, have it in play. So now this just got a lot more interesting. So we do have some rocks in play out front now. Team Japan will choose to be the first ones to come in. They're going to be looking at trying to get to top button with this one and fully buried, forcing Jesse's crew to come down with Jared throwing to see if he can get a nice tight freeze on it. So we should see some great action here. nice draw behind there to get close to buried. So if Jesse chased him, he would hit and roll into the open, allowing for a hit and roll in. So he's going to go to the other side and see if he can get in there to top button, since there is room now. So he's going to choose to be the first one in towards the button. So the guys are both on it, which typically means it's a little light. Let's see if Jared give it enough there to make the shot. Looks like he has. Looks like a really good one. Just made it by. Beautiful, right onto the back pin there. So great shot by Jared to be the first one in there. And so now we'll see Team Japan start to try to clear some granite out top. And while they're trying to do that, Jesse will figure out how to get some more in there to make it difficult. The only other update that I have currently is on sheet number 1 in the women's. In the C square is we have Mitchell against Barber, and Brett Barber managed to score 1 in N4, so they're down 2-1, and they're currently in N number 5, which is about to be blank. So they're going to be going to N number 6 with Mitchell being up by 1 with the hammer into 6. So that definitely managed to move some rocks around. So fine shot now. So that definitely changes things up. And like I said, at the high level that these curlers play at, there are no rocks that are typically safe out there. So that was a perfect example of how things can change very fast, from having about 4 or 5 rocks in the play down to having 1 in the house. So now they're playing shot on shot, and unfortunately that was a hit and roll out by Jared. So got a little wide on that. Again, just having little problems with their slides and a little early in the year. So huge swing in the other game. In N number 5, Team Bernath made some great shots coming down the stretch there, and they scored a bounce back 3-ender against Knapp. So they are now tied at 5 apiece after 5 in the 6th end. So as I mentioned, normally in the 6th end and an even end, there's a lot of aggression to try to score multiple points when you have the hammer, or to basically, if you're without hammer, you're trying to steal a point, especially in a close game. And it started out a little messy there, but Team Japan, as you saw, came through and cleaned up the house. And now they are actually going to peel their own out. Now, many would think, why on earth would you just peel your own out when you could just simply draw behind it? Actually, they're not peeling it out. Now, I take that back. They are trying to split this by the looks of it. No, they were just peeling that out. So they just want a nice clean end here, and they're going to go for their blank and retain the hammer going into 7. But again, maybe many would question why you would not come behind in that situation to try to still generate for your 2 points. And that, unfortunately, I can't tell you, because I would have to discuss that with them to find out why they want to do that. But again, they seem to be a team that like a nice clean strategy, clean ends, high percentage shots. So that's what they chose to do, and willing to keep the game very close coming down the stretch. I assume we're going to see some pretty just straight up shot for shot nose attempts here. So unfortunately for our fans, turned into a little bit of a boring end, as we all like to see a little bit of action. But again, when you're the curlers out on the ice, sometimes keeping it very simple and very clean is a lot easier on the nerves. And so I'm pretty sure both teams at this point are happy with where they're at. And you never know, we might see some fireworks in 7. So an update on sheet 6, Scott Manners took one in end number 5, so they are down 4-2 in the 6th end, and Scott just made a tremendous hit and roll to sit 2, and Team Korea's in their last shot, so they're going to be forced to hit nose with what looks like to be bumper or board weight and score their single point. At this point, they would be very happy with 1, as they will go up to 5-2 after 6, so they'll be in a comfortable position. But still have to throw the solid shot down there. Now we have Jesse coming out. Let's see if he found his line on this one. He's had a little bit of trouble going out wide, especially with the intern today, but looks like he had no problem with this one. So nice hit and stick, which will help his confidence with this throw a little bit. And we've got 3 rocks to come in this end. Team Japan coming out with a little bit of extra weight on this one. Normally we won't see that kind of weight when they're just trying to do a simple hit and stick. But confidence is up there. He gets a nice hit to the middle. Very nicely done. And just an update in that Manners and Team Jeong from Korea. Korea scored 1, so they are up 5-2 after 6 ends of play. And the update in the Jacobson and Laycock, they are going to be blanking, I believe. It looks like there's no rocks in play. Actually, it looks like there might be 1 yellow way over on the corner, so Jason doesn't want to take it for granted. And so he's going to hit that one and see if he can make a blank in end number 6. Jesse with a hit and roll. Very nice roll over to the side. Leaving what looks to be a pretty easy blank for Riku, as it is very close to the outside rings. We got a hard sweep going on here though, and it will, looks like it will stick around. So they might measure this one. No, they are going to count. So very unfortunate one for the, or a force of 1. So that will make Jesse St. John and the team very happy as they score 1 and 6. and they are now, or sorry, they're down by 1 going into 7, but still pretty good considering without hammer control. Anytime that you can force your opponents to 1, you're very happy about that. So the guys will be very happy, and Team Japan will regroup here and maybe question their strategy just a little bit, or maybe how they rushed that last shot. They should have maybe taken a little bit more time. They kind of took it for granted, but we'll see what comes out of this, and that should be a nail biter right to the last rock in the 8th end now.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Okay, we are back with a nail biter after 6 ends, 4-3. It's almost a story of David and Goliath out here. We've got the local guys that threw their team together for this spiel, for SaskTel, and then we've got one of the highly world-ranked teams from Japan here, and it seems like the guys are putting on a great battle against them, and going to lead to a very big finish here with only 1 point separating them, and our Saskatchewan rink has the hammer. So as we enter into 7 with 2 ends to go, again, we should see some pretty big shots coming down the stretch, and some moves to try to generate some extra points here. So very excited to see what we come out with here, and stay tuned for some great action. All right, the guys watching this one coming down. Normally not a good sign, as it means it's a little bit heavy than what they want. It's coming down, just a little bump, so sitting good, but looks like there's a angle or a straight on raise, and what's called drag effect on the red rock should come straight back onto the yellow. Now I know looking down at it, it doesn't look like it's lined up that well, but one thing, when rocks are very close together, the angles change depending on where you hit it. So if they could hit this onto nose, what'll happen is it'll angle that red, which normally would go across the top, but it should drag and pull it back. And I know Rico, he's expecting that there is 3 red rocks left and no yellow ones after this shot. So let's see if he pulls that off, and if he's all the right angles there. Again, they're putting the broom right where they want to hit. They'll throw this pretty solidly. Pretty close to peel weight, I'm assuming. Little fishtail there, so see if that threw him off a little bit. Looks like it's a little tight. They're hammering it pretty hard. He's working very hard. Really good effective sweeper here. And unfortunately, he missed his angle. Again, a little bit of fishtailing technique there, and that's caught him a couple times today on his throws. So whenever he goes to the peel weight, so he'll definitely want to work at squaring that up a little bit for future throws. But good opportunity where it left Jesse with one of his shooters on the button. So now it looks of it, he's going to go for a little bit of a hit and roll here. Probably go with a little bit of softer weight on this one so he can get a hit and roll in over top so that they can control their shot. A lot of teams, what they'll do is throw this shot far too hard, and it makes the precise roll that much trickier. So typically you want to bring this down to a bumper or board weight just to get the roll. Fortunately, that curled up a little bit much on him, but still in great shape. Moved it over. There's no double there, so they'll be pretty happy with that result. So he's trying to make this curl a little bit. You'll see when the outside person comes onto the sweep, what that does is that's, in theory, is going to help it curl in more. Typically what'll happen though with the legal brooms that they use nowadays, you have to do significant force to get a rock that's thrown with anything more than board to curl a little bit. So that's why he had trouble getting that to curl in, but he did make enough contact to knock it out. So they're in good position. So again, Jesse here, a lot of teams, what you'll see is they would draw another one in behind there, but they're giving the Japanese team a lot of respect, thinking that that's a pretty close run in. So they don't want to chance that yet. So they're going to play it safe and take the open hit, which is a little bit safer way of doing it here, and they're going to try to roll in a position that they don't set up a double right back. So let's see if they manage to do this. This looks like it's a little wide, and again it is a little wide throw, so not going to be happy with that, giving up that opportunity. Just not quite sharp this afternoon. Again, I'm assuming this is the first spiel for Jesse St. John and his crew of the year, and we know that Team Japan has been training and playing quite a bit, so it's a little bit different. Probably don't have their legs under them quite yet, so makes it pretty tough, but they're holding in there really close and making a really close game. So this play here going on this early in, just drawing instead of running it back and trying to keep everything open and narrowing it down and keeping it close, they've decided that they want to draw in there and make it a little more difficult and make Jesse make the big move, where if you can get this frozen onto that one on the top button, you're setting yourself up for a lot of good things that can happen for you anytime you have your own color rock in front of the others. Now this one looks like it's going to come up a little light. They are really trying to move that rock, but they are going to come up a little light on this one. So now we have 2 guards in play, which is still a danger. It looks like Jesse should be super happy because he's got one buried in there on the button, but that can definitely get you scary when you see 2 red rocks out there. So we'll see if he's going to. It looks like instead of coming around the inside, he's going to opt to go to the outside, trying to generate his points there. So he's going to want to make sure that he's going to call for a T-line on this one. T-line, if not, just maybe back 8 is still good too. You just don't want to be on the top 8 or top 4 with this one over on the side and leave some sort of double for the opposition. So they're having a good discussion with the sweepers right now and making sure that they know they want to put this right on the T-line to avoid any kind of roll in. Guys are popping this pretty hard. Jesse's come up to help. Really trying to see if they can get it there. Looks like the weight's going to be pretty good. Jesse knows the importance of not leaving a double, so he wanted to come up and have a really close look at where they left that, but it worked out well. They got a biter out of it, and it is pretty high, so the double is there, but it also leaves very tricky angles, so it's hard to tell from my angle right here, but it looks to be no more than a quarter rock at most to make that double. Or they still have the option that they have the short run back. Well, they're going to discuss what they want to they want to throw here. We have Yamaguchi about to throw, so he's going to let the skip know what he's most comfortable in throwing here. Whether they go for the thin double or whether they go for the run back. One thing they probably will not do now is draw with 2 yellow rocks in there, so it's going to be a hit and remove. It just depends which one they're comfortable in going with. Taking a lot of time over this one. They're definitely not that confident with it. I think it's still the shot that I'd like to play, but they would have been discussing what turn they wanted to go with. Earlier on, they tried the in-out off there, so I'm surprised they're not trying with the same one because they've thrown down that line. They know what it does, but again, each thrower is more comfortable typically with the in-turn or out-turn, and a lot of times the skip will leave it up to that player to decide which one he wants to throw with. So they've gone with the out-turn here. I believe it's Yamaguchi's up to throw, so that would have been his decision there. And let's see if he can throw a nice one here. It's a fair bit of ice, so they're coming with a little bit less of ice than normal. Normally when you're looking at a double opportunity, you'll see teams throw a peel weight. They are more trying to position this where they get the hit and they want a certain roll with their rock. Now they're trying to curl this in and they're not having success with that with the weight, so missed opportunity there for sure. Now Jesse will probably go behind it, which he's doing. So the good thing about this is giving Carl the same shot. So he just threw it, so he knows the weight. So they should be able to make this pretty good as they just saw it go down there. And Carl makes sure that he adds on about 6 more feet for the guys so that he doesn't kill the sweepers and they get a nice true roll in there. guys like it so far? Light brushing, cleaning, nobody's pounding, which doesn't show urgency either way. So they're liking the way it looks. Now they got to make sure that they get it covered, and they got to get this to the tee line. They do not want to leave it in the top 4, which they have just done. So be a little bit disappointed with that they didn't get that on that sooner. Now they're leaving a pretty good opportunity for this double, and yeah, that's a little bit on the sweepers. That one they weren't going that hard on that, so might have tricked Tyler and Jared on that one a little bit, because that's definitely one that you get to the back of the house before the top of the house. So fortunately something caught them there, and they just didn't see that. So leaves an opportunity for Team Japan to really put some serious pressure on Jesse here with only 2 rocks to come. Okay, and just like I mentioned, big mistake on that last one by the St. John team, and they definitely paid the price for it. Beautiful shot there. And so now Jesse will have to make a really nice draw behind here and hope that the run back is missed by Riku. Yes, curling is a vicious game. You can think you're in total control, and like I said, just one small miss by one part of the team and miscommunication or whatever, and it can bite you back so fast out there. And it's why we love this game and why we can drives us crazy all at the same time. So things can change so fast within shots. All right, let's see if Jesse can bear down here and throw a good draw. Jared jumped it early, which normally we'll say it's either tight or a little bit light. Both guys going on a pretty steady throw, but it looks very close. Looks like he buried this one. So looks like they jumped it, not for the weight, but definitely for the line, as it was a little tight. But great sweeping there early on, and they held that line, and they got a great shot right on the button. So well done by the skipper and his crew. The sweepers definitely make a big impact out there on holding that line and getting that weight that you need. So that was definitely a full team effort, as Carl was there on the line call right away, and that was just a all-around great team shot there. So just like that, now the pressure's back on. Now Jesse having last shot, the team decided to just draw in and try to freeze on that yellow stone, thus most likely forcing Jesse to one. They came up a little light, so they have a little bit of room on the outside draw, so they're going to try to tuck this around, and they just have to get full 4. And I don't mean just 4. That's a very difficult shot, but they're going to have to be perfect on their line here. But the shot is there for 2 for Jesse, and a great first shot by himself there guaranteed him the 1, and now they're just going to see if they can find that second one. Carl's having a good look to make sure he knows where he wants to see that rock coming in. And looks like they're taking pretty good ice, just close to the middle of the 12. Normally we would see a little bit more ice taken for this so that they could have the outside guy sweep that in to have a little bit better angle coming in towards the button. But maybe what Jesse's looking at now. But Jesse has had a tendency to be a little wide on his interns today, so maybe they're also factoring that in too. So let's see what he can pull off here. So he had a nice release. They're not doing anything now. Normally you like to see one of the sweepers down with at least a clean, but there they go now. No urgency, so they're pretty confident on the weight. Looks like they've got the line. It's close. Oh, a little rub. Oh, they just had to get on that a little bit sooner to hold that line. Oh, what a great try there. It's that one will hurt. The sweepers are going to take that one back and wish they had got on it just that little bit sooner.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Okay, 4-4 action. We're coming down the last end. And number 8. Very close game. Team Japan has the hammer and control right now. Jesse attempted to throw up a center, and it was just off a little bit, which is fine. More importantly, it's just out front, about halfway down there. And Satoshi, he made sure to throw a nice one in there. You're looking for your first one to be in the top 4, and that's exactly where he put it. So now the guys are discussing, Carl and Jesse are just discussing on how they want to play this out, and it will be another guard, but they're just discussing on where to put that guard because they don't want to set up the option of a double peel, as they want these rocks to last as long as possible. Normally what you'll see is teams throw one just over the center line and then one closer to the house or vice versa, but that's to make maximum separation and line them up to make the double very difficult. But in this situation, the rock's off the center line, so they have to figure out a little bit different strategy of how they're going to do this. So they're just discussing where they want those rocks right now, and that's what Carl's discussing with Jesse. As this next rock is a very important rock to make sure to have out front and in a good spot to take advantage of the free guard zone and how the end's going to set up from there. Little update on the Laycock Jacobson game, which is another big one to see who goes into the finals. And we have Laycock up 4-2. Jacobson was forced to a single in 7, so now they're coming down 8 with Laycock up 2 with the hammer and sitting in very good shape so far. So no guards out front, so it should be a pretty clean end for Team Laycock. Okay, second guard is up. Unfortunately, they grouped them together closer than they probably wanted to, but they are 2 stones out in the free guard zone, so still sitting okay. Lots of potentials for jams up there, and forcing the rock to maybe come into the ring with the wrong angle, so lots of options still. Very nice balance slide coming out here, and looks like the release was nice and clean, so line and weight should be pretty good on this one. And just an update, there was a win on sheet number 6 for Team Korea, Zhong over Manners. In the 8th end, in the women's division, we have Howard against Orsted, and Howard is up 3-1 in going into the 8th end, and they have the hammer, so sitting pretty confident there, but anything can happen in this game of curling, as she does have one out front there. And the high scoring affair of Knapp and Bernath is now done, as Team Knapp managed to score a 4-ender in 6. So that was an up and down game, but Team Knapp over Bernath, that was on sheet number 5. They were in the B. Just watching this shot come down. So Jesse's trying to tap some rocks to the back of the house. Again, it's not the mission to get the rocks out of the house, especially when you're trying to steal coming home, but he more or less wanted to see that rock just behind the tee line or close to the tee line, so that there's freezing opportunities or making it more difficult to get shots out. So as you can see with this one, most likely there's a couple rocks moving, but there's so many potentials to jam. So great shot by Jesse to call that one, and now we're going to find out what happens as we try to move some granite here. Good hard sweep on this one. Skip's coming up. Looks like it's just going to be one going through all that gap. And then one of the games that's behind just a little bit here still on sheet number 1 in N number 7, we have Mitchell versus Barber. Currently 6 red rocks in the house, but we have 1 yellow of Barber's that's in there as third shot. So right now Brett's looking at how to get in there, and looks like she's got a pretty straightforward shot for a double to sit 2. And it would be very hard for the double coming back because there would be a jam there. So I believe that's what she's looking at right now, just making sure of it. But this is her last shot, so they should be able to just hit nose on her last one here, and should be able to score 2. I don't see any other rocks really hiding there. So she's just going down to throw that now. And now Jesse, they drew one in there. Again, it's not always about having shot rock. It's about placing your rocks in situations that they come very effective down the stretch. And that was a great shot. So now they're coming down with up peel, and there was no fishtailing on this one. This was slid pretty straight up. So we should be pretty close to where he wanted to hit this one, which he did. Very nice shot. Solid slide, solid throw. And now faces Jesse with facing 2 again. So Jesse most likely will try the tap up again, or he will try a corner freeze on the back one on the line. So looks like Jared's having some insight here, and now Carl's coming back down. So guys are going to have a little bit of a chat to see where they want to go with this. All right, and just on that sheet number 1, Brett's Barber's shot, last shot's heading on down. And she did. She threw a great one down there, and she got her deuce. So she is now down 4-3 going into the 8th end without, but a great deuce in there to keep the team alive. And now they're going to have to steal their way coming home to be able to survive and keep going in the spiel. So that's official. Team Laycock ran Jacobson out of rocks. So Team Laycock will be going to the A final. Definitely right now all eyes are on this matchup as everybody's intently watching how this finishes up. And the only other game out there is the Orsted and Howard is up by 2 with the hammer and no rocks in the house. So Ashley's just wondering how she wants to clean up maybe some of the guards here, but she's definitely in control. Now back to action. So they threw a tight guard out here to get it in the way. So now the team has to decide, do they want to get rid of that guard, which is very difficult, by the way, because there is rocks on both sides of the sheet that are very potential jams. So it's in a great spot that it is not a routine shot to hit that guard out. But any team knows that they do not want to leave a guard in the 8th end when as the other team will definitely use that. But in this situation, very difficult to get out. So they might go with the third shot, which is also Yellowstone, to see if they can just put another one in. But yes, it's always scary when you're leaving opponents' guards out front. So the team is definitely going to have a discussion. You can see the whole team wants part of this talk. Okay, they've had their discussion. They know how they want to play this one. So here we go. Setting the hack, coming out. They're going to try to make the yellow double here, which is not an easy shot. Very potential to jam, but let's have a look. Hit that a little thin and actually bump the yellow back to second shot. So that'll definitely change the plans here. Normally what they would do would be just a corner freeze to force action. And they still might do that because now they have the buffer zone of the yellow there that it could also jam on if they try to get rid of it. So that's a big opportunity for the guys here for the Yellow Rocks. So we're pretty sure that we're gonna probably see a corner freeze on the red one on the edge of the 4-foot. But the guys are definitely looking down the other side here at the short run backs. And they're thinking that they might actually try to move the red one off the middle of the 8-foot. But with that ice, I'm really not sure. Maybe they're coming to corner freeze that. So again, every team definitely has their strategy that they like to use, and they're obviously envisioning something here for a couple plays ahead. Pretty sure Team Japan is pretty happy with this call, but again, let's see what Jesse hasn't planned. Jared's on it a little bit early. So looks like they were just gonna try to corner freeze that one in the top 8. Or just throw a straight guard. No, they are just decided they wanted to throw a guard there. I guess what they're thinking is that they are hopefully that Team Japan would go for the one in the house, that second shot, leaving them a draw around, but pretty sure the guys weren't going to do that for them, which they're not. So they will simply clean this guard off. If they catch the yellow one, that's great. I don't think it's the biggest priority for them, but they're going to try to make the double. But if not, a straight peel, and I'm sure they'll be pretty happy because they will have a pretty good shot for their last one, regardless here. Again, a little surprised Jesse decided not to try that corner freeze on that red one that you can see there behind the guard, as that would have left for a very, very difficult shot for Team Japan. But we'll see if his guard leads to a jam here, which they'll be hoping for. It looked like he got that started a bit, but the sweepers did not jump it, so must have been just the angle that I saw. Yeah, straightforward and made the double. So now, unfortunately, the guys have to make that corner freeze, and now they have to make it perfect. So they got no choice, and now they don't have backing for it. So strategy kind of bit back at them there, and But let's get a corner froze, and that's done now, so you can't do anything about that. Let's see if Jesse can throw down a nice shot there and see if they can put some pressure on the Japanese team here to make a real pistol for their last one. Okay, the boys are on it. They weren't panicking, so should be pretty close on the weight. Hopefully the line is pretty good. It looks pretty good so far. It's got to be perfect though. Come on, guys. Got to lean on it. Got to move the rock, and they did not, so. They still have the corner freeze available to Jesse for his last one, which he just threw. So that'll be scaring the guys a little bit. So they might want to try to get in there first. Or, as you can see, the tap up would be a very nice call. If they could tap that up, then the corner freeze is not an option. And that's probably the call that you'd want to go with. If they could get that straight back to top of the button, they would be sitting pretty good, and Jesse would be in a lot of trouble. All right, some big discussion here, and this is just one more time to thank Curling Stadium for being out there and offering such high quality visibility for all these games that are being played at some rinks right across the country, but right here, especially in Swift Current, it's been a real highlight to this club, and helping to save it and keep the doors open. As we all know, curling is very tough right now, and to have opportunities like this to be able to watch world-class curling and get big events into small communities like Swift Current. We really thank them for putting that on, and of course our the major sponsors, the S3 Group, for coming forward from a local standpoint and really helping out in sponsorship of our events. So thanks to those companies, and you can definitely see in the commercials. Um, Please paid close attention. I know that's normally when we go for our washroom breaks or to the fridge or something like that to snack, but make sure you watch those commercials and see who's putting out the money there to keep this kind of operation in, and hopefully give thanks to those companies for taking such a big part and helping keeping curling thriving. So big discussion here, all four involved. Going back to trying to do the shot that Jesse tried doing, which is the corner freeze. I still think personally I would really think that the tap back would be the best shot or easiest shot. But if they put a really good corner freeze on here, Jesse will still have a shot. Um, but all that, very difficult one for sure. You can see in the background there, that's the Howard and Orsted game is now complete, and Howard won that, so congratulations to them, and they're making their way off the ice. All right, they're coming down. Looks like it's got a little bit of heat on this one. So there's going to be a little tap and roll. Sitting pretty good. So now Jesse's going to have to figure out where they're going to go. And looks like the only shot they have is a little bit of a hit and roll. If they try to, I know everybody would look in the hit and roll to the middle, but leaves a very short run back, but still might be easier than trying to hit and rolling off to the side there. So they're going to have a really good look at their different angles to see where they want to get into. The only other game on the sheet is Mitchell and Barber, and that's in the C division, and it's a winner out kind of situation. Mitchell is 1 up with and currently sitting 5. So Brett's got her work cut out with 2 shots to come, but Brett's been playing a long time, and I know she'll find a way to sneak a yellow rock in there. So I'll keep you updated on that as we go with just the skips rocks to come there. So there, Carl's taking a really good look at this. Again, not an ideal situation, but they will have a shot. There's a couple different options here. They could also come down and just tap that to the back 4 and sit in front of it so that they would have 2 different opportunities to jam, leaving it wide open. Otherwise, or they look at just hitting, and their first call was just to flop over in front of it where Jared's pointing now. Very, very, very difficult to do, but possible. And probably the easiest shot is if they hit and just roll under the red one that's in the middle of the 8 and force them to do a short run back. Is probably best chances, but there's the call there. But again, that's a tough one. So that's what Jesse's looking at right now. Little hit and roll over should work out pretty good and give them the opportunity to put some pressure on Team Japan. All right. Now again, in normal play and normal spiels, especially big competitions with time clocks, you'd be never allowed to this much time to look at it. But both teams have taken advantage of not having anybody call them on the time. So that's why the game's going a little bit later than what the ice makers would definitely want to see. But big decision here, as this is a very big game. So guys don't want to take anything for granted, and make sure that they're looking at every situation. I think Jesse's got the line now, so he's confident with it. Looks like they're going with a little bit of hit and roll. In the other game for the Barber and Mitchell one that's still out there, Brett's first one makes a nice triple to move some rocks around. Unfortunately, does not get her yellow rock to a position that will help her a whole lot. Red still sitting 2, but definitely looks better. So Team Mitchell will most likely take a nose hit on the yellow and try to sit 4 to put some pressure on Brett's last one. All right, so Jesse's having a close look at this one. It's getting pretty close to the center line already, so they're gonna have to, Tyler's really got to lean on this thing. So we got a hit and it's a rollout. So just got that a little bit tight, unfortunately. So that's game. Thanks everybody for watching and hope you enjoy the rest of the games. Thanks, Curling Stadium.